Hey there, everybody. I hope you're having a good day in your corner of the world. I'm having a pretty good day in my corner of the world. It's been a mellow day, and boy, has it been a while since I've uploaded a video or even recorded my thoughts. Feels kind of strange to do it now after I haven't done it for so long. I haven't done it in like a month or so, but my goal was to film a thought a day, but life happens and things get complicated, and it just has been one of those months where a lot of transformation has happened and a lot of changes, not just due to my move, but also due to other transitions that I'm making in my life. And I guess I didn't really have the headspace to record my thoughts, or I guess I didn't feel inspired or motivated to record my thoughts. I think I needed some time away. But anyway, this is not a video about why I haven't been filming for so long. I want to talk about something that I've been contemplating for a couple of weeks now, and it's about the longest relationship you will ever have in your life. So it's obvious that everybody in our lives, family members, friends, romantic partners, even though we may not like to admit that they will eventually go, we act as if the people around us, the people in our circle, will always be there. But the truth is that there will always be an end to any story, to any kind of relationship, whether that be because you fall apart, you drift apart, you no longer have the same interests, or the other person dies, you die. There is an expiration date to every relationship. However, the longest relationship you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. I think many of us know that, many of us on this journey, that on this self-discovery journey, knows that deep down inside that it's important to build a relationship with yourself in order to have healthy relationships outside of you. It is really hard to fall in love with yourself, to court yourself, to date yourself, to love yourself. This is also hard because we've been conditioned from a young age to do the opposite, to hate ourselves, or maybe not hate ourselves, although it just depends on the type of childhood that you had or the kind of traumas that you went through. But you definitely go through, all of us, I think, go through some type of conditioning where we forget that the most important relationship you can ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you respect yourself? Do you put boundaries to protect yourself, not boundaries to distance yourself from others, but boundaries to let others know that they can't overstep certain aspects of certain values, right? So I know a couple of people in my life, and I've been there as well, so I can't act as if I've never experienced this or I've never done this, but I'm only going to speak about my personal experience and then other observations that I've made. I used to be the kind of person that didn't really have a good relationship with myself. I hated myself. I'm not going to get into the details of why that was, of where the conditioning started, but obviously in my history, in my story, it started from a very early age. I had a very unpleasant childhood, and that conditioned me once I kind of quote unquote lost my innocence and grew into puberty and then grew into my young adult life and all of that stuff. I was conditioned by my own experience to believe that I couldn't like myself because I was inherently bad. It's been a long journey of erasing those bad affirmations that I had towards myself, that I would say to myself. And I still say it from time to time. Like, I still call myself an idiot when I make a mistake. I still call myself stupid, and I try to stop and stop myself and say, no, I'm not an idiot. I just made a mistake, and that's all. But it took a while for me to get rid of the deeper, crustier conditioning that I had that prevented me from loving myself. I didn't have a good relationship with myself, and I remember I had this one relationship where I felt like he was a very empathetic guy, and he sympathized with my past traumas, and I unconsciously put him in a role to save me. Like, he was my savior. And I'm not proud of that. It was just, I was blinded by my own pain. But I was very needy, and I was very clingy. And I also experienced a lot of jealousy. I felt a lot of possession towards him. And this was a while ago. This relationship was a few years ago. But nevertheless, obviously we broke up. We went our separate ways. And it was a self-discovery journey after that, and learning that I don't need anyone but myself. And that's a very tricky phrase, right? Because you do need people in your life. You do need the socialization aspect. You do need to have others around you. You do need a community. But you also need to learn how to be independent and navigate through life on your own without any help. And that balance, right? That's really difficult, because then I went the extreme end, and I became very hyper independent to the point where I would push people away. So I went the other extreme as well. And that wasn't a good thing, because I prevented myself from creating connections, deeper connections. And I had to learn that there needs to be a balance where I need to be confident within myself that I can handle things. Whatever obstacle comes my way, I can handle it on my own, but I can also create a community that can support me through those challenges, right? They're not doing the work for me. They're not fixing my problems. I'm the one fixing my problems, but they're there to support me. They're there to cheer me on, you know? I'm not depending on them to be saved, or for them to save me, or for them to fix my problems, or for them to do X, Y, Z, whatever it is, right? And so there's this balance of being independent and having a community, and obviously with a community you become attached to your community. It's inevitable, right? There are different kinds of attachment. There's healthy attachment, unhealthy attachment. But you can build a healthy attachment, whatever relationship you create, whether that is a romantic relationship or a friendship or a familial relationship with your siblings or whatever it is. It's coming from a healthy place. It's not coming from a place of codependence, and it's also not coming from a place where you don't need them. It's like, oh, it's a privilege for you to be in my life. It's not coming from that mentality, you know? So how did I learn to have a good relationship with myself? It was a long, winding journey, and I'm still on that journey. I'm by no means finished with that. I still have a long way to go, but I've come a long way as well. I guess it was observing my thoughts objectively, observing the affirmations that would come up, the harmful affirmations that would come up in my mind, observing them, the negative perspective I had about myself, observing that and seeing if it was true or not. And also making peace that, yes, I've made mistakes in my life, and yes, I've fucked up in my life, and yes, I've hurt others in my life, but that doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make me unlovable. That doesn't make me unworthy. And that doesn't mean that I don't have to forgive myself. As long as I recognize that I made a mistake, as long as I recognize that I fucked up, as long as I recognize that what I did was coming from a place of ignorance, from an unhealthy place, but I'm different now, and as long as I'm apologetic about it, there's a way to move forward. And I am worthy of redemption. So that was the deepest type of conditioning that I had to get rid of. That belief that I was a bad person. And from there, when I recognized the harmful conditioning that I had, and this stems back from stuff that I've been through and all of that, I started to change my perspective by replacing those bad affirmations with good affirmations about myself. Maybe not, I don't like that term, fake it till you make it, because it doesn't ring true to me personally, but maybe it rings true to other people, and that's fair. But to me, it was noticing the small good things, the small good acts that I would make in my life, in my day-to-day life. Like, for example, and this is not to let my left hand know what my right hand is doing, as the saying goes, but I sometimes give beggars money, and I hesitate to talk about my good deeds because I think it's irrelevant and other people are watching these videos, but it's more of a video journal for myself. So, okay, for example, I'd give homeless people money or people begging out in the streets money, and I would notice that and be like, oh, it's coming from a good place. And I'm not telling other people that I'm doing it. Obviously, in this video I am, but it's just an example that I just popped up in my head. And I would say, okay, that's a good thing that I'm doing. Like, honestly, if I observe myself, and this is not coming from a pretentious place, but just from a place of humility and recognizing my good qualities, and that's really, there's a fine line between arrogance and humility, right? Am I trying to be superior than others? Am I trying to be more superior? Am I trying to act as if I'm higher than thou? No, I'm hopelessly flawed. I am, okay? Just ask anybody that's lived with me. But I try to be a good person, and I try to be a good Samaritan. And noticing those little acts helped me replace that bad language with good language. And it would also motivate me to help more, right? To give more. And that helped me build a better relationship with myself. I'm not sure if this video is making sense, or if I'm making sense, but the most important relationship you can have is the relationship you have with yourself, because that's all you have in the end. When you turn off the lights, even if you're sleeping with somebody else, there's a moment where you are with yourself, even though you're next to somebody else. There's a moment where you're in your head. And if you have bad language towards yourself, if you have a bad outlook about yourself, then it's a miserable thing to live with yourself, because your mind, your body is not a safe place for you to live in. It's important to create that healthy relationship with yourself. And once you create that healthy relationship with yourself, you can create healthy relationships with others. And you can also notice when other people will cause problems, i.e., if they will create disharmony in your life, if they are coming from a place of unhealthiness and will add unhealthy traits or unhealthy situations in your life. So I wish I had more to say about how I created a better relationship with myself. Like I said, I'm still a work in progress, but I've come a long way. I feel like my body, my mind is a safe place to live in. It's a safe place for me to be there. It's not an unsafe place. It's not an unpleasant place. And I think that also takes time, because you have to remember, you've been conditioned. Most of us have been conditioned from a very young age, or maybe something traumatic happened during your young adult life or whatever it is. And it created a certain language that you speak with yourself, an unhealthy language. And it's hard to realize that the language is unhealthy because you've created a toxic relationship with that unhealthy perspective, right? It's like people in toxic, it's just like people in toxic relationships. They don't realize they're in a toxic relationship until they leave that toxic relationship. But because they're so used to the toxic relationship, when they're in that relationship, it's really hard to notice it, because you've always been in that. You're just so used to the suffering. So it's important to create a good relationship with yourself. Love yourself. Learn to love yourself. And I wish I had the elixir or the answer, the short answer on how to do that. I have my own way of doing it. I've done it my own way, but maybe you'll find your own way. But I really do hope you find your own way. Finding a way to love yourself, finding a way to create a relationship that is healthy with yourself, finding a method to release the toxic conditioning, and finding a method or realizing at least that Your body, your mind is a safe place if you choose to believe that. And if you choose to change your mind. It's all about changing your mind. So, those were my thoughts of the day. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you keep having a good relationship with yourself. Peace and love. Bye. I'm gonna make more videos now. Stay tuned.